Henry Louis Wallace, known as the Charlotte Strangler and the Taco Bell Strangler, murdered 11 black women in the span of 4 years in the 1990s. Wallace was the manager of a Taco Bell restaurant in Charlotte, North Carolina. 10 of his victims were his friends or acquaintances, including 3 who worked at the restaurant and 1 who was the roommate of his girlfriend. He raped and strangled most of his victims who unknowingly let him into their homes. He even attended at least one of their funerals, according to a 1995 article in the Charlotte Observer. Until Wallace killed 2 women who resided in the same apartment complex on consecutive days in March 1994, investigators were unaware that a serial killer was at large.
The police were concerned when the 2 murders occurred on the same day. Mm-hmm. That's when Barkham and Henderson.
Same day.
Yeah. That's when all of a sudden they started seeing connections and things that had happened 20 months ago.
A short while later, he killed his 11th victim on March 12, 1994. He was eventually apprehended. During a press conference following Wallace's arrest, Charlotte Mecklenburg Police Deputy Chief Larry Sider said police worked tremendously hard and did an excellent job investigating the cases. "We're sorry that we didn't get him identified earlier," he said. "Had we done that, we maybe could have saved the lives of some of these women." With a total of 129 murderers, 1993 was the deadliest year in Charlotte, partly fueled by the crack epidemic. Former Charlotte Mecklenburg homicide detective Gary McFadden, who worked on the Wallace murders, tells A&E True Crime the unit was understaffed, with only 6 to 8 detectives who also dealt with the natural and accidental deaths, suicides, and missing person. "We worked under very difficult conditions," says McFadden, now sheriff in the Mecklenburg County. "We never had time to collaborate. We never had time to give cases a lot of attention. Additionally, the Wallace investigations were hampered by the fact that the killer wiped down the services and made sure the items were not touched. And if he wasn't sure if they were touched, he would put them into the oven." McFadden says Wallace made at least one of his victims even shower to wash off any evidence of DNA. The race of Wallace victims has also played a role, according to Dee Sumter, co-founder of the victims' rights group's Mother's Murdered Offspring in Charlotte. Sumter's 20-year-old daughter, Shauna Hawk, was murdered by Wallace in 1993. They didn't give enough value to black women's life. It just didn't matter to them. Sumter, who pushed the police department to keep investigating her daughter's murder, tells A&E True Crime, They were overworked, unnoticed to me, underpaid, and they didn't give a damn. Also, the factors were also working together." Wallace's first murder victim was 18-year-old Tashana Bethia, a local woman. Her body was found in the pond March 1990. Wallace then moved to Charlotte, where he killed 10 more women through March 1994. In addition to Bethia and Hogg, his other victims were Sharon Levitt Nance, 33, Carlin Love, 20, Andre Ain Spain, 24, Felicia M. Jumper, 21, Michelle, 20, Vanessa, 25, Betty, 24, Brandy, 18, and Deborah, 35. He also tried to strangle Hender's 10-month-old, who survived. All along, Wallace, who at some point had been addicted to crack, played part of the concerned friend, Hawk's mother says. Hawk was loving, kind, sensitive, warm, and giving. Her mother says she attended community college and considered a career in nursing, law, or politics. She was happy to work at Taco Bell, where she earned her highest salary ever yet. She once went to a comedy show with Wallace, who came to pick her up at the house, but was not interested in dating him, her mother says. Wallace, whom Sumter described as intelligent and well-spoken, went to her daughter's visitations. Later, Sumter ran into him at a store. "He leans over to hug me and says, 'I've been waiting to come and see you. I'm so sorry,' Sumter recalls. He's hugging me and putting me on the back, saying, 'Oh my God, Shauna was the sweetest person ever.'" Police finally zeroed in on Wallace after they located a Bachman car and found that his palm print on the truck. They pulled his mugshot in where he wore a cross-shaped earring, just like a man who was identified as having used Mac's ATM card after his death. Police arrested Wallace on March 13, 1994, the day after he murdered his last victim, and he confessed 11 murders. Police were stunned at the enormity of his crimes, McFadden says. Wallace wrote down the names of his victims except Nancy's, a sex worker he beat to death whose name he didn't know. He also led police to Love's body, who'd been deemed a missing person. Sumter says she found out about his arrest from the TV shows. She saw Wallace's photo on the screen, followed by her daughters. Anguished, she collapsed to the floor with such force that she hit her head and started bleeding. She recalls, "That's good. There's good Henry, and then there's bad Henry," Wallace told police. As the years progressed, bad Henry took over. Please like and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.
He was a friendly person that made friends very easily, dated women very easily.
But then he said the bad Henry would come out, the monster, so to speak. He came out, he was angry, he had to kill them. Why he couldn't stay good Henry for a long time, we don't know, but he just couldn't.